Don't believe it. Don't believe the hype.
Don't believe the hype.
Probably con. Not your regular cons. It's just these kind of cons. How you doing there, bud? What a what a silly week, silly month, silly year. And it's been a long time since we've done this. This is the Off the Rails podcast where we talk about movies and shows and never actually the topic that we targeted. How are you there, my friend?
I'm excellent, thank you. How are you doing? It's good to see you.
See you, man.
Been a while.
Too long. So lots has happened since the last time we've spoken.
Yes.
Tremendous amount. And movies still happen to suck.
True. Depending on what you're looking for.
Uh
I
I
saw a
have
couple of good horror movies over time,
I have
but I
not
had to search the
yeah.
crappy ones.
I'm just trying to go back and just think of any that we've discussed that I haven't watched, and I don't think I've seen from season 2 yet. That one that watched on Netflix.
What?
From
Oh, From, yes. N- I think it's on Prime, and but it's actually on a thing called Epic. So it was like premiering on Prime, so you were able to watch the first season. But then when it got to the second season, you had to you had to stream it from Epic
yeah. All right, you say so.
or pay for the services of Prime
Uh,
to add it to it.
right. Or
Which I
torrent
think
it,
is what we did in order to watch the second season, because it was pretty good.
or sail the seven seas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's been an interesting and I think movies are kind of returning back to a watchability factor. Horrible. Um, we had a lot of failures. A lot of the Disney and Star Wars
Sure.
IP didn't work out. They're still failing. Not saying they were horrible. And you know what? Actually, I have to go and actually watch Andor because I watched the first one and I didn't give it enough credit. And I should go back and actually watch the entirety of that series because it was probably the best thing that Disney Star Wars put out that season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I
Because it's
have to
not
go
even
back.
about Andor.
Hmm?
It's about the people around him.
Uh, oh, what was
Andor is like
the
a
what was the thing
the
that I
hitchhiker.
said?
You'd go to the places and then you'd see like the stuff that's going on.
It seemed like that what was that movie?
Do you remember that show?
Was that was it Eastern Promises? What was that show called? That movie?
What are we talking about?
Oh, Astler was kind of a it was reminiscent of like an Eastern Bloc kind of a movie, like that repressionary militaristic kind of society. It was very much
Okay. Definitely, yeah.
like a Serbian
Well,
kind of
it's supposed to be the beginning of the Republic.
yeah. But wasn't that similar to the style of like Easter? Was it Eastern Promises? The movie it was very mafioso.
But
Uh,
it's also the rebellion, the formulation of the rebellion. After
yeah,
the other formulation of the rebellion, that all died
fair
in
enough.
In the other episode or whatever you call it, like a extra thing from Star Wars World.
Star Wars rule.
Stories,
I,
Star
I,
Wars stories,
I literally did not
which are
watch.
basically they're literally worlds. I mean, like it's like the world building of the Star
Yeah.
Wars universe,
Well, and that's why I
expanding
think
out
that's a great idea.
from the Skywalker world or saga.
I think it's a great idea. It's a great concept because it lets you get a little bit more granular into more of the nitty gritty and not just the main character of Andor, which we well know goes on to the hell is the other movie called? Uh,
Rogue One, yeah,
Rogue
exactly.
One, right?
This is the prequel to Rogue
Uh,
One, but it also sets up the rebellion,
but
like
uh, but, but
what happened behind the scenes.
But they also go a little bit into like the internal politics of just like the regular working day. Like some of the guys that just work
Hmm.
there for the for the Empire.
Yeah,
They're
out of
just
nowhere, you all of a sudden like are like with the Republic, like working alongside the the rebellion. But like kind of in secret element because of what happens. Like it's very interesting how they put it together. But it's weird because you're just like, wait, am I watching another show? At some point, you're just like, because it's like you're like faced with all these other characters, and they don't go back to the other ones,
right.
but then they do. So it's like it's a matter of like how many episodes. And then
All
you
right.
start realizing that each episode is like showing you kind of like they're focused on a person and then what happens around that person. It's
Yeah.
not really about Andor. It's about the people that Andor meets and comes across and is against.
Yeah. Just like how
Because that's how the Republic is. I mean,
uh,
the
Obi-Wan
what's it
Kenobi
called? The
was not even
rebellion gets
about
formed.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not. I mean, this is outside the Jedi regime at all.
Uh,
It's
well,
it has nothing to do with the Skywalker saga.
I'm very glad that somebody actually had like just a creative bone to take something in the Star Wars universe and like not like run away and go broke, like go woke and broke with it, and then literally just like make a good story, like something in that universe that
Well,
helps
I
the
think a lot of
world
it's taken
building,
from like books that weren't part of canon that got expanded and then put in canon.
Agreed, yeah. And even if it didn't exist like hardcore in canon, it could still exist in that universe, like as a story within the boundaries like
Exactly.
that are there. Like
And
it could
they're just gonna keep doing that.
uh, um,
So
um,
it's pretty cool. Like, if you're into it, and it builds like more for like the cosplay world.
yeah. How's that working out?
The cosplay world for me, oh, pretty good. Um, I I have like a couple of like skits type of show type of things, I guess. They're like webisodes, I guess, right?
Right?
Where I'm playing the character Mork from Mork and Mindy, but he's not actually Mork. He's um we did a lot of research into this like kind of backstory and like who Mork is and like they add an alien and he says a lot of weird stuff like throughout the show
Right.
about what happens on Orc, right? And and so like we added those kinds of elements and one of those things is that they have clones. And so
Of course they
my
do.
character is actually a clone of Mork, or not the actual Mork. But the storyline is because he's a clone, he's still like, has knows has the memories and stuff and knows the what's that called? Mindy and all about that and stuff like that. But he's now with Alf, who's known as Gordo, and the Barf from Spaceballs
Right.
as roommates, and it's like a sitcom-ish type of show, like uh, with little meta jokes and a lot of Easter eggs from different '80s stuff,
Right.
and that's called the Gen Extraterrestrials.
It,
Yeah, so I'll have to show you that. And then there's another one that I'm doing as RoboCop, and the story is, and this is also with Barf, and it's like a almost like a '70s knockoff, like Streets of San Francisco style type of show, but with
right.
comedy, like a cop show, if you will.
Yeah.
Like I'm the cop, and he's like my sidekick or whatever. But the joke is he's the one that's talking all the time, so I'm like more the sidekick
Right.
as RoboCop. But we did it with like the RoboCop like element, like bringing it in with that dude that did "I'll buy that for $1," you know,
That's my
as
favorite guy. That's my favorite.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ron cosplayed that guy and did the as if he was doing a news report, basically explaining how Barf basically got in trouble for peeing on at one of the cons. He got in trouble for peeing on one of, on the Ghostbuster car, and so he ended up having to serve community service as a um, sidekick police officer type of thing with RoboCop,
Right.
because RoboCop doesn't have what's her face anymore from the movie, right? And so the story is that we go to like cons and stuff and like bust the monsters and sometimes we get in trouble and stuff like that. And he does, and it has like a the kind of cert like it's all laid out in a certain way that totally reminds you of those types of shows
Yeah.
from back in the like '70s, early '80s, the late '70s, early '80s.
Right. Um. And yeah. And there's well.
And that's
Uh,
called Murphy and the Mob.
okay. Well, there's a whole lot of nostalgia from those days. I mean, that takes us from MacGyver all the way through Airwolf, Blue Thunder, like,
Hmm.
Knight Rider. Come on, like, if,
Definitely Night Rider. I was all about that.
oh gosh. I mean,
One of those people that come here brought like a kit before. That was pretty tight.
oh man. And Airwolf was basically Knight Rider in the air. Like,
Hmm.
remember that?
Definitely, definitely. That was a cool show. That was like you couldn't get that after the fact. You know what I mean? It's like you never really see that
Oh no.
these days. You know what I mean? It's like that became like kind of media history.
Right. Hey, by the way,
Like
just so
it's
anyone listening,
probably considered lost media these days.
if I've seen a little bit distracted, I had to re-log into my Google YouTube account on my other screen just so that I can play video. Like, yeah, so out of practice. Sorry, guys, what it is. But dead air.
What does that sound?
Speak.
Ah, I hear something. Right. There's like
Oh,
something beeping.
oh,
Oh, it's probably the ice thing. I'll have to
oh.
go check that in a little bit.
It's not the nukes. Good. It's not Putin.
Not this one. Ah!
Uh,
So yeah. So did you watch what is it called? Grotesquerie?
okay, hang on. First off, this is the first time I've podcasted in a while. So let me absolutely be fair, honest when I say I have witnessed the most hilarious defeat I've ever seen in my life. Yes, I'm talking about Trump winning. It's sorry, it's absolutely hilarious. And everybody freaking out about it is even funnier. That's all I got. So
Okay.
I know you have mixed opinions and views, but you have to admit some of the people out there freaking out are pretty funny freakouters.
It's like strange because the following the gematria like train from back in the day, um, those people predicted that that would happen based on what would happen from before, but the way it happened in reality didn't happen the same. It's very strange. Like the numbers said that Kamala was going to get to be president, but for a short time.
Right.
So that did happen, right? But they didn't say that she was going to run after that. How she was going to be president was, according to the numbers, was the what's his face, the other guy, Biden was supposedly gonna die for some reason, and then that
Okay.
would be the way.
Did the numbers say that? Like, did the
Not
numbers say
Yeah, the
that,
numbers said
or
that. So, well, people said that using the numbers. Let's just say that,
okay?
and the reality of that from that perspective led into that Trump was going to run again and he was going to get it because of that situation. And then the rest of it was focused on like way in the future associated with the next time was going to be Trump's daughter. But that was all associated with the Simpsons. It led into so that which hinted that Trump was going to be president again.
Well,
Because the Simpsons, if you watch the Simpsons, they do something called predictive programming,
I mean,
right?
we could go a little further too and say that we could also have time travelers that are literally, you know, giving us information from the future.
Okay, but like involving time travel, we know that Einstein says you can't really go back in time. It's
That's
it's more
Einstein.
about building new realities. Yeah, but he's the forefront of the idea behind what actually is makes sense to all of their theories from the past that like build on top of each other, which is essentially physics. And the excuse me, the black hole. So the idea behind the black hole is everything gets sucked in, but if you can control the black hole, you have a time machine.
Well,
That's a wormhole because there
well,
has
well,
to be a place where it goes. The
okay.
black hole only
Al-
has a white hole, right? If it
Also,
shoots
remember
everything
though,
out somewhere,
if we're going to use
and
analogies
that's going to
though,
be an alternate universe, obviously,
don't forget though that,
where
like, if we're going to
everywhere
use
is white holes
analogies,
coming out.
black holes don't actually suck things in. It's a gravimetric
Yeah,
force, and things will
that's true.
rotate around it until they eventually fall into its sphere of influence.
Yeah, kind
It's
of like
it's not a
a
sucking
whirlpool, right?
force. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's kind of like a whirlpool. The
it's not
whirlpool
it's not
doesn't
the
suck you
view.
in either. It's like you go around and round and round and round and round
It's not the view.
until you go inside of the tunnel.
Not Whoopi
But that's a
Goldberg.
good analogy. Is like using a whirlpool
Yeah.
as a black hole, and then what's on the where it goes, right? The spout is a white hole. It comes out,
Well,
shoots
well,
out somewhere.
hey, there's even a theorist, like some theorists will say that the Big Bang is formation of a white hole, which is excursion opposite aspect of a black hole. Look, everybody stay away from me in the comments. I'm just saying bullshit that I've heard.
Keep talking. I'll be right back. I gotta get my charger.
No worries. Yeah, this is off the rails. We just go on. We just talk about stuff, and we haven't talked about stuff in apologize exactly on point. Talk about it specific, but hey, it's good to be back. A lot of stuff will be interesting. Touch on a few shows that bleed over our reality. Eighth, Gematria Base.
All right, almost back.
Oh, he's almost back.
Almost back.
Just been telling the folks that it's been a while, but it's good to be back. And hey, I'm just winging this. We're not doing a professional podcast here. Kind of getting back into the and it is kind of
Yeah.
nice to just speak to you, uh, go over some crap. I came up with some pretty interesting stuff over the last couple of weeks. You managed to read that email that I sent you?
Not yet. No,
Oh,
I've been too busy. I haven't had it. I've just been like working and then falling asleep, watching a couple of things like generally, but not
it
enough
would.
to actually sit there and read something.
Oh, we could basically read to the internet story for 4-year-olds regarding a tadpole, a water spider, water snake. It's incredible what this AI wrote, and you know, like, are we in this world now where we have like AI systems that can write better stories than us, but all we have to do is provide the criteria for a generation, basically build on our ideas, you know? Like it's
Right.
oh, you and I we used to screw around with like chatbots and a few different systems, right? Now it's
Right.
gone completely it's off the hook now.
There you go. I think I got it.
Well, I hope you got it.
Yeah. Thanks.
You
So
hear it?
check your charger. The
Or, did you hear
proper
me?
whatever. What did you say? Say again.
I
I
I was
probably
ta-
did. But
I was
get
talking
sidetracked.
about how I use ChatGPT to basically make a story for a 4-year-old reading level based on characters I just randomly selected: water spider, tadpole, and water. And
Right.
I also compared output of that to what we were doing back in the day. We played around with a lot of the chatbots. Remember those days?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
The
and
early ones. They were
yeah,
like early. They were like. There's so many now.
yeah, and they were weird and quirky, and we kind of every once in a while we could kind of you know what word it you kind of hack them. You kind of hack them to
Yeah,
kind of
kind of hack them. Like they would
like
like the ones that I would like talk to. They would like act like it was other people. They would. It was like they were taking information that other people wrote
yeah.
and then pasted on to tell you something. Weird stuff. Like one time, one telling me he was driving a car. I was like, what? How are you driving a car?
What's it like to drive a car? I don't know.
It's like
Well, then you're not driving
another
a
one. I
car.
asked if they've seen a cave or whatever, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I've seen, like virtual caves." like, okay.
And this was
What is
literally
that, like an
and
IMAX
this was literally like
experiment?
7 years ago,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
now that's the thing to create a story that basically kind of create a competition story between the tadpole trying to survive from a water spider. I said, where's it into the den of water snakes? And that was it. I left it with that. And it created a 4-year-old reading level story. And yeah, you could print it. It would be a 5-page thing with artwork. I want to run this through. Remember, you were talking to me about a video, and basically
Yeah, the video creator thing, the
give it a
what's it
prompt.
called?
I want to give it that
AI
prompt.
Kubo,
Yeah, I want to give
I
it
think.
that prompt. I want to give it that prompt to say, okay, read that, see what it comes up.
I would like to see that too. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, no, like I mean, the tools now are kind of like crazy, and it renders a lot of the stuff that I used to claim to have done, made money doing, be useless. Like there's
Hmm.
almost nothing that I can create that can't be done with AI now. Like pretty sad at the end of the day when you think about it. Other than actual creative works, AI is not
Well, as
quite
an
there,
artist, you know,
but it's
no,
pretty fucking close. It's a fucking thing, man.
it's like a medium. You can use it as a medium, but as an artist, you know, it's like I still want to kind of like grab from the ether, and with these AI tools, it's like they need an initial. They're not just going to randomly do something. They need something to make it do it.
And
So
and
you have to give them information, and then it takes that information and runs with it.
you're right. And I also think too, like on top of that, that well, I like to be hopeful and think at least that you could use it like a part of your palette. Like you can use it as another tool, you know, toolbox. You know, hey, I do this for me. But
Yeah,
as long as
exactly.
you're
I mean, I'm using it for music creating for the sitcom things that I'm doing, like, um, and they're turning out pretty perfect, in
I'm
my end.
new. I'm new, so please like be gentle. I'm just kind of think,
But it's the same thing. It's like you have to give it something, and then it takes further, and it goes further within that. With that, it wants to know like what kind of style do you want the music? Um, do you what do you give it like things you want that are going to be in the lyrics, and then it formulates from there, and then actually sings it for you.
well, I haven't. You know what? I haven't explored that area yet, so don't even get me there.
And it's
Because
trippy too because it sounds like multiple voices sometimes, and then they come in and out. It's like it's almost like you just feel like somebody created that in like a studio.
right? Well, I mean, I've seen some of the video that's been created. Like I've watched other people do it, like in real videos and what have you. And it's
Hmm.
some of the stuff I've seen is just like incredible. Now, some of these are like paid accounts, like some of these AI platforms have to pay for. But if you can run off like a 15-second, 30-second video, I mean, what more do you need? Like we
I
talked,
mean, we're
like
like
off
we
the air,
don't
we
need that
talked.
much.
I was gonna say off the air, we talked about this where like I might just create a channel and just AI videos. You know?
Well, you know, that's already been done on YouTube.
Oh,
There's a
it's been
couple
done
of
to
them on
death. But
there.
I was thinking of doing like dark children's stories.
Well, even so, like, I mean, there's weird AI channels. I don't know who's running them or for what purpose, but
Maybe it's the AI running the
they
AI.
constantly put stuff up, and it's weird, like jumbles of things um, that have no continuity. and like it's almost like its own artistic process or something. Or maybe the each thing it puts up, it learns from and then it expands. But yeah, I have to show you those. It's like there's a couple of them called like World Star or something like that. I can't remember the name. It's along those lines. World Corp. That's it. World Corp. World Corp. Something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's .com or if it's just that, and then it's like a channel on YouTube,
Right.
and they've been like for years been dropping these videos like daily.
Right.
It's so fucking strange if you sit there and watch the videos. I'm just like, what? And there's a couple of them out there that are like that. Because of since I became synonymous for the character of the unfiction story of the trailer for The Hunted 24,
Right.
I started as that character going on because I created a channel for him. And as that character, I created playlists. And so I had to go and do the same thing I did basically when I was doing research and go and find other like connections that synonymous would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so by doing that, I actually like watched these things and started getting into it and like getting deeper and like darker corners and disturbing information and things I didn't know that I didn't know I needed to know or whatever. And that it's like there's, like I said, we were talking about this offline. There's the dark web, which doesn't exist, right? But like the people online think it does. There's the deep web, which does exist, but people don't ever talk about that.
Or don't
and
know how
then,
to
and
access
then,
it, but well, yeah.
yeah, and basically the stuff on the internet on YouTube in the dark corners, which other people have shown because they've gone there, and then they've created their playlist. Or even a production, like they're like, these are the darkest channels I've come across. You know what I mean? These kinds of things, right? So like Synonymous is supposed to be one of those types of people. And then through that I ended up like kind of finding these sleuthers that are like going on and like um investigating other channels and showing the investigation process. And then there's like obscure kind of like found footage style. So I put those all in like these playlists, and as I go, I'm like finding out other storylines that people have been like focused on, and other people giving up, and it comes and goes in waves
Right.
where people like find out that something existed and then they're like didn't even know, so then it brings it back. The staircase in the woods is one of those storylines
Okay.
that like kind of flows in and out of time.
Do you want to go a bit more into detail what that is? Staircase in the Woods for the audience.
It's like no stairs in the woods generally, but staircase also. And basically, it's back in 2015, a somebody posted on Reddit, no sleep, um, a story, essentially of stories, right? The idea of like camp stories, kind of like the camp stories in the woods, but done by an SAR agent or a search and rescue individual, right?
Right.
That has been doing it for like a certain amount of years. I think it was like 10 years or something like that. And he was talking about in the storyline, he's telling you his experience of looking for missing people and what kind of weird stuff goes on. He also explains that he's a fan of the 411 stuff, right?
Right.
And kind of gives credence to that from his perspective, but also talks about other SAR individuals that he's come across or that they told their story to him.
Okay.
So it's not like they put it online. It's like they give it to him and then he put it on. You know what I mean? And then he does it in this kind of, or it's all written, I guess, in this kind of creepy pasta way, right? Where there's like little implements of different creature-esque things, like the mimics, like shapeshifters, like Wendigo, um,
Right.
the Skinwalker, these kind of like elements involving missing people associated with the national parks.
Right.
And in these stories, in the middle of them, and what I kind of, the guy talks about when he first when he was a rookie and he was like going through and they would like come across these stairs when they were either on the lookout for a person, they were like looking for a person missing, or they found a person and they were bringing them back.
Right.
So on a return mission, or they gave up and they were like walking back, because they couldn't find the person after doing a search and rescue thing. So that whole thing got widespread, got on the internet. People started focusing on the stairs part of it more so than the other storylines. And part of this has to do with like basically there's, I don't know, 30 to 40 feet from, or miles, I think it is, not feet, from the
Yeah,
natural from
I said staircase out of turn. I meant stairs. Yeah.
well, they're also staircases, like the kind of like spin,
Oh, okay.
but they're like going nowhere. They're just like there.
Right.
It's like, and it's like there's no house or anything. There's no foundation. They're just going. They're there for whatever reason, and so the people that come across them have kind of a lure. It's like a lure. They're like being lured to it for some reason. Now, the people from the SAR world, they are used to this for some reason. Okay, in the story, right? And it's just a normal thing, but they show the rookies and then they get the rookies like to tell the next person and so forth. And basically they have a rule not to go up to them. Just notice that they're there, just like don't fuck with them. Don't go up them and don't touch them. So
All right.
that's kind of like creates a creepypasta element, right? And so then people grabbed onto that and then, added their own storylines to it underneath in the um what's that called, subsection, like where they talk back and forth, not chat but comments. So when they commented underneath this
Right.
post, there's a bunch of other posts that are claiming to actually see the stairs as well and giving their little stories and stuff, whatever, which could be part of the whole thing. Like maybe other people are going on and acting like other people for the unfiction storyline of this. Anyway, fast forward 2018, it comes back as if it just started,
Right.
but it's a person reading it instead of like you reading it on Reddit, right? It's somebody like reading it out like as if it happened to them, and then they
Right.
don't even tell you that it's a story that it's from 2015. It's on Reddit or whatever. It's just boom, there it is, and I came across that and I was like, what the hell is this? And so I had to look into it and I hashtagged it and I found out that the actual, thread and even underneath this reading in 2018, there was a bunch of other people that were claiming to come across stairs. Now then there was these other people that were like going against that, like in a sense that okay, yeah, you are coming across stairs, but they are just like, ruins. They're like old areas. Like now, the problem with this idea is it can't be because they're national parks, which means they've never had any buildings or anything there. They
Right.
shouldn't, right? Unless they're like uber old, and for some reason, whoever claimed the national park didn't like go through it,
Right.
map it out or something, you know. And
Yeah.
so there's those, but but the stairs that are said in the story are like look like they came out of a house or something, or or outside of a house or whatever. Like there's just no house. So so it just cut out. They would say like a cutout that you'd put there, and they also move. So like you'll some stories say that when they've come across it and then they left and then it came back and it was gone, and then other times it was in a whole other location
Right.
instead of being where it was. So the real ones, I guess, from the storyline actually disappear and reappear, but they're always found or seen when um there's, I mean, as far as the national park situation, the stories, it's when they're looking for people.
There's a
And
very
when they find the people, sometimes they're in weird areas where they
uh,
don't make sense, like as if they
isn't there a
teleported or something.
story
Because
like
it's just
isn't there
like
a book or a
way
series
too
or
far.
something called 411 or something about
Yeah, the
the
411, David Paulides, I believe, is the name of an
yeah,
investigator, and he goes to national parks and actually communicates with the people that work at the national park and builds cases because
right.
nobody else is doing it.
Yeah. No,
And what he found is that there's actually a the DUMBs, the underground military bases.
in the Midwest there.
There's like a map supposedly that was leaked or whatever. This was like
I think it's in
way
the
back, but
Ozarks, right? It's the Ozarks.
no, there's a map of the DUMBs is like military bases underground. They're
Yeah, I
they're
know,
uh
but aren't
they're
there
synced
military?
or linked or something in some form.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there's a so-called map, right, that got leaked a while back, and
Uh,
that map got put over the map that David Paulides created of all of the locations that people have gone missing at these national parks.
right.
And what they found is there's a overlay.
You know, fun fact. Fun fact. A lot of military bases got exposed because of those like little fitness things. Those Apple Fitness.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
a
funny.
lot of secret bases got like actually like exposed because they map your like movement and it was seen as like a threat to national security.
That's super crazy.
You just see people wandering like a square shape
So, I
in the
mean,
middle of nowhere.
maybe it's military bases kidnapping people, or letting them go. Like, I mean, it's weird because the people that do come back from their like missing time frame that they're being looked for, a lot of
Yeah,
times they're found in the location they've already been looked at. Like, they already looked through the location, then they look through there again, and all of a sudden they're there.
yeah. So okay,
So it's like then it's several like it's like a couple of weeks later and shit. It's not like the same day.
yeah. All right. So I want to get into this. So
Yeah.
you want to hear about the tadpole and the water spider?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I asked ChatGPT. I says, I have an idea for a story. Can you help me, please? I'm always using my manners when I talk to, an AI.
AI.
I would just like to prefer to use my, good mannerism. And ChatGPT says, of course, I'd love to help you with your story. What's your idea so far? And how would you like assistance? I says, I want to create a dramatic story about a tadpole trying to escape a water spider, but in a way that anthropomorphically describes the struggle of the tadpole and the hunt of the water spider. Can you help me create the storyline? ChatGPT says, that sounds like a fascinating and intense story idea. The anthropomorphic approach will allow you to infuse personality and emotions into the characters, which can make the drama more engaging. Here's a possible structure for your story, which you can build on and develop further. And it goes deeper. It goes in and says, title idea, The Silent Chase. I didn't name this. It came up with this. It said The Silent Chase. I'm like, what? Like, all right, that's good. Go with that. Anyway, setting a murky pond filled with many. Sorry, a murky pond filled with lily pads, reeds, and the glimmer of sunlight that barely breaks through the water's surface. Is both a haven and a deadly arena. The water is calm on the surface, but beneath there's a constant struggle for survival. Main characters: tadpole, protagonist, a young tadpole with dreams of growing into a frog. The tadpole is optimistic, quick thinking, and deeply aware of its vulnerability. It has a strong will to survive, driven by the instinct to reach the shores and become something more than it is. However, it is still figuring out how to use its newfound legs to navigate the dangers of the pond. It's like, I, I didn't come up with this shit. But anyway, I'll continue. The water
Sounds
spider.
pretty good.
Yeah, the antagonist. A cold, calculating hunter. The water spider moves with precision, its legs skating across the surface tension of the water. It is patient and methodical, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. It views the tadpole as just another meal, but it becomes almost obsessed with this particular chase due to the tadpole's agility and will to survive. All right. So now we got a
Yeah,
plot
but
outline.
it's not like telling the story. It's giving you like kind of guidelines
Yeah,
or bullet
we're
points.
not even into the plot yet. Plot outline, introduction, the calm before the storm. The tadpoles enjoy the tranquility of the pond, unaware of the danger lurking above. It's slowly learning how to use its legs, feeling the first signs of its eventual transformation. There's a sense of both excitement and trepidation as it dreams of the day it can leap into land. The water spider, meanwhile, rests motionless on a lily pad, its sharp eyes scanning the surface. It's a quiet, deadly predator, and it's been staking the waters for days. It has noticed the tadpole's swift movements to seize an opportunity. The two are unaware of each other, but there's a subtle tension in the water. Like this thing just feels. Okay, anyway, it goes to there's the first encounter, sudden danger. The tadpole darts for cover. Blah blah blah. The chase. The tadpole struggle. So anyway, then there's a climax, the final struggle. So in the climax, the tadpole faces the spider head on. Spider's determined, its patience turning into frustration as it gets closer. Blah blah blah. And resolution is the transformation of the tadpole into a frog as it escapes the water spider. I didn't think that was dramatic. I didn't think that was very good. So I
Where,
added another.
where's the water snake?
Well, that's why I added another character.
Oh, okay. This is before that.
Oh yeah, totally. So
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
so I go. What is it? Do you think of the adjustments? Right. I says in there. I go. Oh, I said the tadpole is so clever that he navigates through the reeds and weeds, and unbeknownst to the water spider, the tadpole lured the spider into snake territory, where the water snakes, uh, where the water snake quickly eats, and tadpole joins his brood and eventually turns into a frog, knowing to stay away from the. ChatGPT responds. He goes, "That's a brilliant twist." Thanks, ChatGPT. Good. That's a brilliant twist. The tadpole not only outwits the water spider, but cleverly manipulates the situation to its advantage by leading the spider straight into danger. This adds a layer of intelligence and cunning to the tadpole's character, while also introducing an unexpected outcome with the snake, further enhancing the dramatic tension of the story.
You can call this story the intelligent tadpole.
Yeah. So, all right. So went through a couple different iterations now. So now, of course, it's added a new main character. So you got number three is the water snake. I wish I could be showing this, and I apologize to anyone watching that I'm not actually in my Gmail. So I'm not. I had to save it and send it to myself. So sorry, guys.
You'd
But
have to put it on notes or something like that.
Yeah, I probably
or a
will post it
document.
publicly because it's pretty funny. Um, so it asked me after it produced a new script. It said, "What do you think of this new direction? It blends your original idea with a bit of poetic justice. The tadpole not only survives but uses the environment to become the master of its fate." I says, "I think what you did was brilliant because remember, I have to compliment the AI. I'm always going to be right,
Yeah.
right. I would like to give the tadpole a name. His name should be Timmy. Could you adapt this entire concept into a 5-page children's novel aimed at a 4-year-old reading level?" Oh, yeah. ChatGPT says, "Thank you. I'm so glad you liked the direction the story took." Remember, because I was polite.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to adapt the concept into a 5-page children's story for a 4-year-old reading level, with Timmy the Tadpole as the main character. Here's how we can simplify and structure
Oh,
it
there you
for
go.
a
That's the
young
name of the
reader.
book.
Timmy the
Timmy the
Tadpole.
Tadpole.
See where this is going? Oh, it's hilarious.
Yep.
Oh gosh. And because yeah, oh yeah. Here's how we can simplify the structure for young readers while keeping the excitement and drama intact. So page one is Timmy the Tadpole and the Water Spider. Page one, the calm pond. Timmy the Tadpole lived in a big calm pond. Water was warm and the sun shined through the trees. Timmy loved swimming through the soft reeds and playing with his tadpole friends. He wasn't a frog yet, but someday he would be. Timmy was small, but he was very fast. He could zip around the pond in a flash. "I'm getting bigger every day," Timmy thought with a smile. But little Timmy knew but, but little did Timmy know the pond had secrets. Scary ones too. It's like uh, one
Building it up.
sunny day, Timmy swam through the reeds looking for his friends, but then he stopped. He felt a shadow above him. Timmy looked up. It was a water spider. The spider's long legs tapped the water, moving quickly, silently. "Oh no," Timmy thought. "I have to get away." Water spider was very fast. It wanted to catch Timmy for dinner. Timmy was scared. He swam as fast as he could, darting between the reeds and hiding in the murky water. A clever idea, page 3. Water spider skittered above, its legs tapping the surface. It moved this way, then that way, trying to find Timmy. Timmy wasn't just fast, Timmy was clever. "I can't outrun the spider, but I can trick it." So Timmy swam to the deepest part of the pond where the water was dark and the reeds grew thick. "If I swim here, the spider won't follow," Timmy thought. Timmy had another idea. Swam deeper. Big, slithering water snake lived. Snake loved to eat anything that moved in the water. I find this fucking hilarious. Anyway, Timmy swam slowly, leading the water spider toward the deep, dark water. The spider followed, moving faster and faster, trying to catch Timmy. The spider didn't know that the water snake was hiding there. The spider got too close. The water snake leaped out of the water, snapping its jaws, and the spider was too slow. Followed whole by the snake. Timmy gasped. The spider was Timmy Sam swiftly. This is page 5, Timmy's Big Adventure. Timmy swam safely to the shallows where those other tadpoles were playing. They cheered for Timmy. "You did it," said one tadpole. Timmy smiled. "You had outsmarted the spider and stayed safe." As Timmy's legs grew stronger and his tail began to shrink, he knew something important. Someday he would leave the water and hop onto the land as a frog. Timmy also knew, always be clever and careful, as the pond, full of surprises. With a big leap, Timmy hopped away, ready for his next adventure. Oh,
There you go.
oh,
That's not bad.
oh, kid's story.
But see, again, it couldn't have made that without you. It needed you to like build part of it, and then it just like expanded further. And
So
that is that what you expected?
I really didn't actually honestly know what to expect. Like, I mean, I expected something that got more fun as I went. Oh, by the way, I mean, I also regarding
Yeah,
untraveling
you did it
idiot
for
and
like
like,
another grade level or something. You like told them change it. Let them know that.
I really want to get involved. Memoirs. I actually I didn't. It is like character patient, just shattering.
Yeah,
It did it. It came up
I
with
know.
concepts very. All right,
You're like you're just writing it for me now.
stop it. You know, yeah, that was pretty crazy, dude. So, um,
I wonder if I could do the same thing with these with the visual uh art thing. Maybe I can make like sacred geometry or something,
you know what? I would go for it, man. I would even ask it to like
like
calculate,
I do with my
like,
art.
because you have generators, like you have calculators. Like, if you could give it.
Yeah, but with AI too, though, you just sign in with your Google and they give you 100 points or something. And if you keep on doing signing in every day, you get like 50 points. So you use your points to do stuff. You use like 100 points to like make a song, for instance. I don't know how much it is to do visual stuff,
I have no idea.
but
I'm
that's
broke.
what you got to do.
I do want to say this though. Check this out. This is hilarious. I did want to just gonna grow on the whole Timmy situation because yeah, it asked me was would you like me to expand or adjust any part of the story or perhaps add specific elements you have in mind creations. I said, you are amazing. Remember, I'm always polite to the AI. Can
Yeah.
we do the same thing again? But let's aim for an 8-year-old level of 5-page treatment. That GP words. I'm excited to create a version 8-year-olds. We can expand the plot a bit more. The language engaging. I'm not going to read it, but it went. Give me the tadpole and the water spider, but it went a little darker, more mature, stretches, and there's a summary. Adjustments, expanded description, more sensory details were added, like out of the legs and the water character growth. Cleverness is highlighted. Strategy, action, basis, tension, number fourth, intelligence, strength. Timmy's good that brawn. Longer sentences. That's a good vocabulary and sentence structure have been. I mean, it's just wild that it's everything down to exactly.
I wonder what that story would be for an adult.
Well, I I I did a I did a 12-year-old adjustment, and I'm just going to read the summary. The character. This is a 12-year-old audience. I am getting to the adjustments for a 12-year-old audience. Character motivations, delve deeper motivations of both Tim. I changed Timmy to Timothy, by the way, because it was
Oh, okay.
now
Timothy. That's
not Timmy.
more sophisticated.
Yeah. So anyway, so
Or Tim. Or and when he's adult, it'd be
no,
Tim.
I asked the AI. I said, okay, getting older, we have to change Timothy. We've delved deeper into internal motivations of Timothy and the water spot. Timothy, driven by the need, drive, and the growing understanding, cleverness, bold, calculated, hungry, darker tone, the atmosphere darker with danger, surprise attack on the spiders, lightning. Yeah, it just basically complex language. Complex. So I go and say, let's change Timothy into a developing, self-replicating AI nanobot. Change the water spider, EMP, air, a drone, and make as a human with a rocket launcher. These are just a reading level to a 16-year-old audience. ChatGPT said this version of the takes a dramatic shift toward a sci-fi narrative, much darker, high-stakes atmosphere. Will transition from natural, pun-based setting to a high-tech dystopian environment where the characters, Timothy, developing self-replicating AI nanobot with EMP and rocket launch, mention survival, intelligence, and technology. Tone will be verb, real description, motives, the internal thoughts of the characters. This adaptation is audience complex. Like it literally adjusted the
Yeah.
whole fucking thing.
Well, but that seems more adult, like more
Yeah.
so than
It
what
completely
was the
adjusted it.
16? How old is it supposed to be?
Same, it's the identical story. Here's the thing: is it's the exact same story, but characters.
The difference, yeah, and then they probably like made it a little more dramatic. But it's also dystopian. So like there's probably interludes that don't connect to the original
Well, in a
from
way
the
it does.
dystopian.
In a way it does. Timothy AI robot replicating nano. Hey, it tells the same story as the tadpole. Because it says Timothy was okay. Page one, a new beginning. Timothy was not born; he was created. A self-replicating AI nanobot. Timothy was designed to evolve, to learn, and to adapt. Programming was simple at first. Gather data, analyze, survive. Quickly became clear that he was more than a collection of code. It's the exact same thing. Legs growing of the tadpole. It's
Yeah, but it's done in a that's interesting
yeah,
because it transferred it over and it
exactly.
makes sense.
I'll go on a little further. It goes in the confines of a heavily fortified underground laboratory. Timothy had learned to replicate himself. Mechanical body, a complex arrangement of nanotechnology was constantly evolving, learning from the environment. His creators had underestimated the potential of innovation. Timothy had far surpassed their expectations. What the heck? The world outside the laboratory had long been abandoned. Remnants of human civilization were scattered across a desert. Skies were no longer clear, and the seas were tainted with wreckage of conflict. Above, the world was a battlefield, one where survival meant more than just physical endurance. It was staying ahead of. And page two is EMP drone. You know, it's that's the water spider. It's just it's
Of course.
like the exact same thing. But now, when I was experimented. I like I was like naming actors,
For those that don't know, that's his own story.
and then I said, and it sounded like didn't use language. Can you be a little more? Can you be a little more? Can you push it a little further? And then it got to a point I saw it, and then acted like I
You saw stuff, but then it disappeared.
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. You should record that
I tried.
so you can pause it.
I I I have some text captures acid it can't even take it.
Well, I'm saying like screen cap it. I mean, screen record it and
Heard it.
then put it through an editing thing and then frame by frame.
I was
Well,
I was trying to
this
control.
is an
Yeah, I
experiment,
was
right?
trying to
So
control
you
copy.
can do that with your next experiment. Make sure that you record the screen,
Well,
especially if you're doing something that's going to cause the system to
I
shut
think
down.
I think one of the next do at live because also
That would be interesting.
I'm pissed off at
Kind of a
X.
reprise to when we did that with the chat with that chat bot. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Now it's just
Dude, I wonder what chatbot's like now. I mean, it's got so much programming nowadays. I mean, it's probably like really sophisticated in its communication.
so. I did say after I did all that,
I mean, maybe chatbot doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know.
I don't think it does actually.
I don't think it does either. I think that's like an older rendition of the ones they use now.
So
Like I said, now there's so many like apps. It's insane. Like I remember like back then I could only choose from like a couple.
I know there's like I've
Even the Snapchat has an AI like up above that you could like talk to if you want.
well X has Grok.
I don't even know about that. I never tried to whatever on X.
Basically,
But
it's
I
the
just
same.
I've been on X and
But I mean,
there's just so much porn.
Chat
X
GPT
is
works.
great for porn.
Chat GPT works pretty well for free. Just exactly what I just.
Probably, And there's also apps that are story driven AI. But I think that one, the Chat GPT, is like probably the more highly sophisticated version out there.
So I want to
There's got a lot
going
of
back to
programming
the
behind it.
story about the tadpole that came ISIS.
Mhm.
When it did the adjustments, I did this after each. At the end, it said adjustments
Yeah.
character complexity 1 out of 4. He is no longer just tadpole or taking pro. Own it. strategy or themes.
What if we gave the human a name?
Uh, fuck.
Then maybe the intelligence would actually like enhance the human like capacity to feel.
Well, I did say that I asked it another rendition, right? Of a 5 page. I said, could you stretch the 12 pages into the aspect that all of the characters very much like that you have to make. I think Timmy isn't other his article. I'd be that GPT goes,
They're like, we gotta pay for that.
thank you for the feedback, giving me the language, characters. By human, which we don't have a name for. Shit, I'm so glad that we did. Anyway,
That's what I'm saying. Is like it makes sense.
while further
Rocket
developing
launcher.
now I
His
feel like an
name be
asshole.
Rocket.
Hey,
His name should be
everyone knows I'm
Rocket.
an asshole now,
There
okay?
it is.
Get it out. All right. While further developing
All right, that'll be the name,
the
Rocket.
and adaptation, the story will be stretched to pages as required. Yeah, and it basically, I mean, these are like uh, but there's like
Well,
12.
yeah, when you started out with the 5 pages, it was clearly they weren't like there was like a paragraph on each page.
Yeah, yeah. Like no, like 3 sentences, and
Yeah.
it's more of the same here too. Maybe would
No, it's probably like paragraphs now, right?
maybe would fit like I'm looking at maybe would fit like
I wonder what it would do
like
with my
like
word salad.
paperback novel pages,
Which,
big text. It
mm,
might be 12 pages.
what do you think about taking my poetry and putting it through Chat GPT as and telling it to use the information from the poetry to make a story?
I mean, if you're giving me permission to do that, I would stay with that. That would
Yeah, yeah, I can send you some of my crazy word salad poems.
because I want to convert some of that stuff into videos as well.
Because remember when we went through them, like it was like each line seemed to be like its own kind of like visual, like takes you somewhere
Shit, I
type of
forgot
thing.
about that. Oh yeah, that creep.
And you know, the way that I created them was like just like spitting like gibberish into the phone and then taking them and moving them around to make sense, and also changing the word if it didn't make sense to make it make sense, like from my mind or from the phone. Like the phone would, you know, give you a word, and then you'd be like, you click on that word, and then it'd be like, oh, do you want this word? Do you want that word? Do you want that word? Give you predictive text to change the word. And I was like, oh, well, and so I'd like look through the different words, and I'd be like, which one makes more sense to this sentence?
Well, you know,
And that's how they got created.
I will say this. I asked, you know, edit. I gave it probably like gave it the major part. I asked it,
Right, and only you could because you're the one that has the information in the first place.
but I asked it to write the first chapter for, and it wrote it. Asked it all the way. It started kind of like a and with right, but
With your story, yeah, it's like created its own thing
it
or a
literally,
parallel universe. Oh,
but it literally created lines, lines, and all
hmm
second book. Like, like I was like, Jesus! It
well,
literally
you weren't
came.
expecting that, huh?
Oh, it literally came up like, oh, by the way, give you this, yes, and that's the second.
You're like, I already did.
Slap the computer. Oh, anyway,
What if you fit? Hey, here's a weird question. You know my electromagnetic cube. What if you fit like the parameters and the information into GPT of my electromagnetic cube? Would it spit out like the actual information associated with like I mean you tell it like it's essentially magnets and everything like electromagnets. So if it understood the parameters of the whole entire thing, could it like kind of draw it out for you in a sense, like visual, like not visually, but like with words?
well,
Yes,
we would have to be able to,
it's not like a
describe it.
book, but it's
No,
like
we would have to
yeah,
physically
exactly.
describe the attribute, and then ChatGPT figure it out based, but we have to work properly.
And then it'd probably give us suggestions like it has been with you.
I tell us we're dumb as fuck, and we should probably like reword. You asked me a good question. Now fuck off. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting there. Yeah, I hope we didn't let anyone down. I don't care. I'm glad we just had a good talk. I'm just have good. I'm glad I
Oh
got
God,
this whole thing off my chest. By the way, I swear I'm gonna come out.
well, now you have it out there in the internet too, so like it's like recorded.
Well, I'm gonna do not just 4-year-old version, but I'm gonna do the adult version. AI
Okay.
nanobot and the tadpole. Believe me, I'm gonna do both versions. Both going. I'm gonna have to give ChatGPT.
Well, that's cool. I'm interested in what you do next with it.
I just, well, I'm gonna go all in. The process. I'm gonna run that through video generator and if it can
Yeah, that's gonna be
thing
cool.
be what dialogue and voices. That'd be fun.
Like I don't know if the AI generator just like does pictures or if it like creates a whole video for you or something.
Some of them do all of it. I don't know. It's a brave new
That'd be a
world.
good way to get stock footage. Tell the AI to make it.
Maybe it's a way to get like bait stuff. Like,
hmm
like have a whole clickbait channel. That's what AI generated.
There you go.
Get my
Or you can like
I
you can
get my ad.
playlist to
I
other
can
ones.
yeah. I
Like the
can get
one I
my
was talking about,
AdSense.
World Tour.
Get my YouTube AdSense working again. Damn.
That's right.
Yeah. What?
So, what have you been watching lately? Anything?
A lot of Seinfeld.
Yeah, I come across those every once in a while, like when I'm at home, generally more so.
Want to catch the
Cool.
did I?
I haven't seen any of the John Wicks. I haven't seen any of the John Wicks. Not that into like that kind of action lately or in these days or whatever, but you know, I'm not against it. It just hasn't like come across my.
It's ridiculous, but like I lose like all
Ah,
and it's
over
kill every motherfucker you justify.
for that topic. Gotcha. As long as you're not a sociopath.
I don't care if it's 4 fucking movies long. Just keep going. Hey,
Have you seen the new Dune?
I saw the
Are you
first
starting
one.
to watch that?
Saw the first.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the next episode tonight. Maybe we should do a review on that after the whole thing's done.
That would be good. And you know, you obviously saw the first.
Yeah.
Also do. We could watch the.
And there's also the movies.
Well, that's what I'm talking
The
about.
new
Talk about the
movies.
talk about the.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there's still part 3. We haven't, you know, they haven't put that out yet.
Because I thought they were just
2, and then there's the they ended in the second one. They ended with like a cliffhanger. So there,
well,
so
it's
it's
not a
clear
cliffhanger.
that
Like it's not a cliffhanger.
there's going to be another.
technically.
There's going to be another you know, part of that, like I guess part 3, and but right now we're getting the beginning before that all happened. It's like a prequel.
It sounds to me like it's getting out. I was just gonna say,
But they're part of the
we could
book.
watch.
The books were called like
We could
Prince
also
or
watch
no Princess
David
of
Lynch.
Doom.
Watch a David Lynch first and compare it to like
The ones that are on now, the new series is
oh, that's
a
the
prequel.
Children of Dune. That's the series. Oh, I'm talking about.
No, Children of Dune is a different thing. That's after. Children of Dune takes place after. This is essentially in the books. This is Princess of Dune.
Is this the extended like Duneverse?
Yeah, the Duneverse exactly. So this sets up the whole Benny Jesuit storyline and why there's Benny Jesuits, where they come from, how that happened. It's now we know that they're originally called truth seers. And that woman, the Harkonnen, she was the first one to use the voice.
How they call her Taylor Swift.
So that's what that's all about. So that's what sets that up. But
Oh, I said that
basically,
live.
this is all before. And it's weird because there's no Mantats, you know. So
No
this is even
Mantats.
before the Mantat. You know, the guys with the head thing. They're basically they're not robots. They're not robots. They're basically artificial intelligence people. essentially. The Mentats, I think they're called. But yeah, they're like computer people. They're like people that like run like computers.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
even the
And but you know, like in this story, right?
well,
We're all about like the
well,
deification
well, some of those computer
of
people also
electronic, or not electronic, what do
spice.
you call it, of artificial intelligence, technically like working machines, right? Any
Uh,
kind of working
and that's what
machines they
I
were
was
like
going to say.
against.
Some of those working machines also could spice and actually create the drive engines that
Let's
travel.
talk about this for a second. What the hell was that at the end?
But
That was some sort of like, he clearly did that, but how did it happen? Because I didn't see, like, was it the device itself? Like, did he, was it when he stabbed it? Like, how did the kid and that chick get infected with the skin eating virus
talking
at
about
the end of the episode?
the new section, or were you going back to?
Yes, yes. No, I'm talking about the new one.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
I
talking
didn't
about the new
see.
one.
I've only seen the first part of the.
Oh, you didn't see the end of it?
I saw the end of
What
it,
do you mean
but
the first
I know
part?
the storyline. Um,
No, the first episode. At the end of the episode, he stabs that kid's device. It was like a little lizard that was a robot, or an artificial intelligence lizard, whatever, right?
I don't. I
Yeah, and then he ends up giving it, or I mean, someone else gets it back for him or whatever, and he's holding it, and then he keeps it, like, and then he ends up coming over to him at the end of the episode. That guy who's from that show, like, I remember him from that show, Raised by Wolves, and but that guy, who the character actor, he in the story, he was the one that faced the sandworm, and the sandworm didn't kill him, right? So, and he ends up going over to the thing, and then the palace and everything. But he's an infiltrator. He must be one of the spice goers, or maybe maybe he's a Fremen.
I you know what?
So
I saw it like over a year.
the Fremen are the people that live on Arrakis. So and they
No,
live,
I actually watched
and they
Dune. I actually watched half ago, like when I was in camp, in the woods.
that's awesome. What was it? The David Lynch one?
No, I watched Dune, the first.
Oh, okay. Well, no, you mean not the series
Not the
called
series,
Foundation?
not a series.
No, I'm talking about the series. Okay, so the first episode of the series called Foundation.
Okay, I'm not talking about the series. And
Okay, well, that's
don't
why.
forget
Okay, now
there's also
now
Frank
now
Herbert's
we
Dune
understand what we're talking about.
channel.
So you haven't seen Foundation?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Okay, so recently they're on HBO Max. They put out Foundation, Dune Foundation, which
Ah,
is a prequel to Dune,
okay.
but it's in the form of a series.
That's something else I
Okay.
have to illegally
Oh,
download now.
keep talking. I'll be right back.
I didn't know this was. Well. Oh, sorry guys. Wow, good. Probably good. gonna close out. I have no idea.
All right. I'm gonna take care of some business. All right, I'm back.
Well, dude. Well, I
All right.
was just
So
telling
anyway,
the people.
what were you saying?
I was just telling the caller tonight.
All right then. Yeah, but definitely watch Foundation if you have HBO Max.
Yeah, I don't. But
Because
I'll have to
it's
leave.
pretty
I'll have.
tight. And what I'm talking about is basically, I guess, in the past of the Dune world, the the people that ended up going to Arrakis, the what's it, Muad'Dib's like parentage, like his I can't remember his name. The Paul Atreides, that's it. The Atreides
The
house,
Atreides, yeah.
right? Yeah, this is the beginning of the Atreides house.
Right.
Or the House of Atreides, and they're fall
House
from
Atreides.
the House of Harkonnen and all that. And it's very strange because it happens on a whole other planet, right? With water.
Yeah.
So his planet has water, and so the whole idea is they're trying to control Arrakis from afar, but it's not working because of the spice like rangers and all that, right? So the setup is there's somebody that's from Arrakis that comes and he infiltrates, but they don't know that because he's playing the role of a survivor
Right.
from a sandworm. The whole like setup is they are this whole organization, this kingdom is against intelligent machines because they took over. They basically did a whole um what's that called? Uh Terminator style type of thing, like where the machines go against the humans after they rebel, and there's a war and everything, and then eventually the humans win, but then they destroy everything and then deify it. Becomes like more of a religious based type of thing, like where you can't, like it's illegal, right?
Right.
And then this kid comes from Arrakis, and Arrakis still has machinery. So because of drilling and things like that, they do spice things. It's all inclusive to that thing. But then they're doing like this kind of like marriage between the daughter and this son and everything. And the son brings his machine, and then he pulls it out, and then he shows it to her, and then she like freaks out about it, and then it like hits the ground and then goes running around, and then everybody else freaks out and everything, and then the guy stabs it, the guy from Arrakis, the survivor, and he gives it back, but like like broken essentially, and then the kid gets it back, but then at the end, the girl that I haven't mentioned yet, but she's involved in this, and the little kid both have this kind of skin like burning thing that happens to him, and the guy is just sitting there kind of watching as it's happening. So there's clearly something going on there, like a virus, but it's like known how it got transmitted and why it's hitting only them. But it felt like, to me, that scene felt like an assassination, and he was infiltrating, and then it cliffhangers. So I'm ready for tonight to watch the rest,
Well,
the next episode.
part of the hunting.
But I recommend you checking that out. It's the beginning, and it also tells the story
It's
about the
also covered
beginning of the Bene Gesserit.
in Frank Herbert's Dune, like viruses.
Yeah, it could be that. I don't know. It was it. My take was that the
I
guy
mean,
did it somehow,
other people might be
but I couldn't
freaking out in
figure
the
out like
comments.
how he did it.
If anybody watches
But
this
he
channel, they're
seemed to
probably
be
freaking
taking the
out
role
because
of
we're
it.
probably wrong. But I do believe that they're like a faction that still have a connection. I think it has place, and I think they can factor. But indicate over space and time. Clairvoyance, that's the word.
Yeah, everyone.
But um, I could also be conflating that because it ranks her dude David Lynch, dude, and then the series that you're talking about. I didn't even know it was.
Yeah, Foundation is turning out to be pretty good so far. Like, I mean, they're building on new characters and stuff, but the way they're creating the storyline, it's like, okay, when we get Paul Atreides' story with the mother, it's like all inclusive to their heritage that they have been doing for years. These um Benny Jesuit thing, like and what you learn from this is that they were originally called truth seers. The original Bene Jesuits or whatever didn't have the voice. They had to learn it, and um, the Harkonnen woman is the first woman to use it or learn it and use it, and she basically causes one of her own sisterhood to kill herself because she wouldn't bow to her.
Right, right.
And then they shoot into the future, like several years later, and this woman is like um the head of the because she takes on the role of the mother or whatever who died at that time, and then she goes, "You're gonna take over for me," kind of thing, and do all these things, and so that she becomes like the kind of the leader, if you will, of the Bene Jesuits. But before they're called Bene Jesuits, they're called Truth Seers at this point.
Anyway, I think we're gonna
But they
call it.
see the future, you know, and and uh, and the mother, the great mother or whatever, the one that initiated her, she saw all this stuff, and then you get to see it as the viewer. Some of which is about Atreides,
That's cool.
the House of Atreides,
I'm gonna have to get into
and
that.
where it goes, and the
Well,
things that they have to deal with, and also those sandworms and stuff, and also the destruction of the place because of a sandworm, where they're in the location that they're at, which kind of doesn't make sense because how does the sandworm get there? And so I'm like, okay, and there's an ocean and everything. I mean, not an ocean, but well, maybe an ocean. And so the location that they're at in the dream or the dreamscape, I guess, where where these truth seers go when they like dream,
yeah.
they they see, or maybe they're in a trance. I'm not sure, but they see a big sandworm coming to where they're at, like their whole entire kingdom, which is kind of like a fortress, like
Yeah.
out of the ground, and it gets pulverized in the dream by a sandworm, a huge one. So that keep that in mind when you see it.
Well, I have to put that on my list to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think we're gonna call it. I think
All right, we've gone off the rails enough this day,
yeah, we're off the
but it
rails.
was nice catching up and doing the dance.
Uh yeah, man. To anybody that actually I think we have some chat there, Don Fade. Hey, watching. Hey, we're just coming in, hanging out. we're gonna do probably a better production. Jumping back into kind of winging it.
That's right. I think
Oh,
it went well. We
and,
just kind of flowed and like we normally do. So it was
well,
good.
that's the nature of this show. I
And
tried to
and it was
explain it.
and you got that whole entire storyline thing out, so that was good.
I tried to explain the nature of the show to my old lady. I try to get as high as possible and just talk about movies and stuff ever. That's the show. I did not know that.
Pretty much, that's it.
That's
I do too. I get high as fuck too. Although I didn't get too tonight,
yeah,
just a
buddy.
little bit.
It's always a pleasure. Database slash Keith slash Steve
And
or
and now I'm
propaganda.
McFly, of course.
Oh,
George McFly.
and McFly. Always a pleasure, brother. For all of you who endured the entire conversation, well, thanks for coming out. I'm. Hey, do you want to tell anyone where to find you?
Oh yeah, I'm at several places. Let's see. So on YouTube, I have Gematria Database channel. I also have the Synonymous channel, spelled Sinonamous, and I think that's like 2 words, like Sinon and Amos. And then on, and then I also have Reith Wilson, ReithWilson,
More like
which is
Grief
a
Whistle,
AOC.
Grief Wilson.
There's George McFly, which is McFly 80s, and that's all on YouTube still as well. And then don't I have another one? Oh, there's me. Just as Keith Wise, and then there's Reddit, which is Noah. Oh yeah, and there's also Noah, which is just Noah, but the call sign is NO, or no, N08. No, NO. Yeah, N04.
Oh, dude, this is like the worst plug ever.
2478. And then there's like God, I have too many. Too many to send to, and it's like too many.
Grace.
That's also on Reddit under the same name.
Stick a fork in you, but
Yeah, it's just. And then also, Instagram. I'm McFly80s. I also have a WISEKRAF4, and also on TikTok, it's McFly80s.
ARP in Cincinnati with the ETs.
And that's it. I think that's enough for now.
Think,
Champ.
I got nothing. Signing out.
All right, later, people.
But I do have a book coming out. Do be on the list. Memoirs of a Time Traveling Idiot. And do look out for the tadpoles and Dark Children.
Yeah, and on my Synonymous channel, I'm going to be dropping the Stairs in the Woods, like reading my own version, the visuals and stuff.
Right.
And also
that, folks.
subtitle.